Diving into episodes 7 and 8 of the GAIA Cast, we were granted some truly unique insight on the machines that define the world of Horizon, as well as the principal threats and villains of the first game. I always begin these highlight videos recommending that, if you have the time, these videos by Guerrilla are well worth watching for anyone who has passion for the lore, world building, and game design the devs have done. But with that said, let's take a look at my personal highlights from these final 2 episodes of the GAIA Cast on Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 1. Insect Inspiration. In episode 7, we gained insight into the thought process that went into designing the Faro chariot line. In a world so defined by machines, it was important to make these ancient warbots stand apart from those created by Gaia, not only in their abilities, but also by design. For this, we were told by principal concept artist Miguel Martinez that these Faro designs drew heavily from both insect and arachnid morphologies, in opposition to those mammalian and reptilian designs of Gaia. Taking this even further, this also influenced the 3 models produced, as well as their hive mentality. When community manager Shantae asked how the team settled on only 3 models of Faro machines, opposed to the plethora designed by Gaia, Miguel elaborated that this was not only because they were to be packaged as a military hierarchy, but once again reflect an insectoid model as well, with the Horus as the hive and the others sent out to execute their missions and directives. Number 2. Renewable by Design. When discussing the machines supporting Gaia's terraforming systems, the team would draw on technologies that are still in development in our present day. With Gaia's machine production in mind, the devs knew that creating machine components like those needing plastics, for example, most commonly made from non-renewable resources such as oil, would not align with the healing mission at the heart of Zero Dawn. Instead, these machines of the future would utilize technology to produce plastics with materials such as plants and algae, along with creating clean fuel sources for other creations of Gaia. All details we may have never known from simply playing the game, but thoughts that all went towards making Zero Dawn a more believable and cohesive sci-fi world. 3. Hades Activation. In episode 8, narrative director Ben McCaw revealed information into a part of Horizon's history that we know very little about. Post-Zero Day and pre-future humanity, Gaia and her subfunctions had to accomplish the daunting task of making the world habitable once again. Specifics from this time are limited, and much has to be inferred due to this. As Hades was being discussed in this section of the episode, we learned that the Hades subfunction did indeed activate a few different times, resetting the biosphere back to 0, before Gaia created a suitable iteration to then eventually bring life back to the planet. This is only mentioned briefly by McCaw, but this has some wide sweeping ramifications across the lore of Horizon. Previously, many in the lore community had inferred that Gaia must have achieved what she was programmed to do on her first attempt, due to the fact that she achieved her terraforming goals ahead of schedule. We know this as humans were released from cradle facilities in 2326, over 5 decades before Dr. Sobek's original estimations we see in her presentation of Zero Dawn. Despite her exceeding expectations, we now know that Hades was in fact needed and has been activated, a fascinating revelation that has me even more interested in taking a second look, more like 20-second look, at some of the more defining events of Horizon's 31st century. And number 4, the time between. We've known for a while now that the time frame between the end of Zero Dawn and the start of Forbidden West is around 6 months. But in this episode, we learned a bit as to what Aloy has been up to in that time. It seems there really is no rest for Aloy, as she has spent this time investigating the cause of the red blight that has been ravaging all that it has come into contact with, and appears to be the main catalyst for her to venture west. From one apocalypse right into the other, it's hard to grasp the kind of responsibility and pressures that only one born to heal the world faces on a daily basis. With that, the final 2 episodes of the GAIA Cast focusing on Horizon Zero Dawn have concluded, a really wonderful series that I can't wait to return when it turns its focus on what we will find in Horizon Forbidden West. And that brings our journey to an end. If you'd like to see more content like this, likes and shares are always appreciated, and if you're hungry for more Horizon lore, consider subscribing and checking out the rest of our lore library. Also consider supporting the channel on Patreon, so we can keep making content just like this. Check out the link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep questing.